Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. This is your midday market report for Saturday, August 13th, 2022. And we got chaos already here in the studios. I tell you what, flying everywhere. OMG, but that's for another show. Plenty to talk about. First, the ECSI VIPs 3-0 yesterday. We had, let me see, the Dodgers sleepwalking, but get over the 5.5 team total there. That was one. I'm drawing a brain cramp here. Cardinals minus a 1.5 plus 130. Get to the window there, 3-1. A little sweat late. And our other team total. Why am I drawing a blank? The Padres again sleepwalking, and then they are up for I think 8-1 and 3-0 day. The show. We talked the dog of the day, the Phillies, plus 180. They went 2-1 and 10. I didn't get any of the home run props right. Our buddy here, Riley, talked about Cronenworth. I was talking about lefties, and Cronenworth goes yard. So a lot to talk about. For me and my fantasy team, we got kicked in the you-know-what as Fernando Tatis, 80 games for, as he said, ringworm. Yeah, okay, pal. I don't know where to begin. I reached out to my San Diego connections. I says, I think that the Padres knew about it. That's why they were balls to the wall to get Soto. Tatis will miss the last 49 games and then the first 31. A rumor came out today that he was tested positive in March. Now, I don't know the details of the gist. Obviously, you can't take an 80-game suspension while you're rehabbing. You're out anyways. So maybe they waited till he was back in camp and getting ready to come back to release this. But 23 years old, big contract, an asterisk next to his name already. So tough blow for the Padres there. Plenty to talk about. Zach Wilson, almost out for the year. Sounds like he might have escaped that, but what does that mean? I immediately said, Sally, get on the phone, call the 49ers, get Jimmy G into camp. You know Jimmy, you worked with Jimmy, and at least it won't be a lost year there. But what do I know? But I do know this. I have a co-host in the Windy City who, probably, I don't think he's upset with the way the Packers looked. A good, exciting game. Oh Romeo. Again, I was on the show this morning with Dave Sharapan and Brady Tinker, and we're talking rookie of the years, and this guy's gaining more steam and more steam. He's 20-1 right now. And for fantasy, when you want a piece of the Packer pie, I think that's where you're looking. So let's bring him on. The one, the only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Morning, sir.
Morning, my friend. Happy Saturday. Glad you lead me into the old pack because obviously White Sox and Packers fan here. Cover both of them. A win for the White Sox after my rant yesterday, but still doesn't totally alleviate some of my frustrations by any means. But yeah, you're right, man. I saw a lot of people looking at. I actually had one of my close friends who. Is a huge Bears fan and knows football, but if you looked at the box score for the Packers game, you see the 3 interceptions from Jordan Love, and you kind of immediately knee-jerk is to laugh at the Packers and Jordan Love. He had some rookie mistakes. By no means am I saying he didn't have some rookie mistakes, but a couple of the interceptions far and away were on the receivers there. I mean, one of them hit the receiver in the hands and the face and bounced perfectly to the defender. So, like I said, still had some rookie mistakes nonetheless, but, really seems to be improving each and every time out there. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. Obviously, we're not going to see him this year once the season gets going, hopefully, but, barring any injuries. But, yeah, Romeo Doubs. The type of route that he was running that he scored on is the type of route. I'm not trying to compare him to Davante Adams, but that's one of the bread and butter routes that you see from Davante Adams. I saw from Davante Adams here in Green Bay. And Romeo Dobbs ran it perfectly, and Jordan Love obviously placed it perfectly. So you're right, man. If he's looking like that on a week in, week out basis, there's no way he's not only not going to be leading this team in receiving yards, barring a huge boost from Allen Lazard, but yeah, he's going to be in that conversation Rookie of the Year, and he's going to be, winning, depending on when you have done your fantasy draft, and depending on when where his hype has been at the time of your fantasy draft, he could be a major factor if he ends up being that piece. And if you've already drafted your fantasy draft, which is in my opinion way too early, then you're probably kicking yourselves if you didn't get a chance to take him. But obviously, if you've got it coming up, it's definitely a name to be watching for because, as you mentioned, I still think, and I would imagine you were kind of talking about it yesterday. The running backs are probably going to see an uptick in receptions. I think Aaron Jones is going to be due for, if we're talking fantasy football PPR league, I think Aaron Jones is going to be an absolute monster, potentially, in certain given weeks, especially in the first half of the season. Late in the season when it gets cold, and then that's when it's AJ Dillon season. But nonetheless, you have to feel good about where we are with Romeo Dobbs. And while the rest of the receiving room has still got a long way to go, it sounds like it's picking up a little bit. But optimism from last night. Obviously didn't see too many of the starters. Little concern with the depth of the secondary, I would say. Got burned a few times last night, but obviously, as long as we're intact, I love our secondary. Last year, we lost some people in the first few weeks, and they were able to bring in guys off the street. So, if there's injuries to the secondary, that could be concerning. It's not likely that 2 years in a row, if you have injuries, you're going to be able to bring guys in the street that have an immediate impact and fit seamlessly. So I'm a little concerned if we ever have any injury issues with the secondary, with the depth this year. But aside from that, I'm feeling pretty good about what I saw, especially, with a defense that's, we typically can get our number at times. So, a lot of optimism, a lot of room to grow, but it is a good start to the preseason for my eyes.
Talking too early to draft, and I have a partner that I do a lot of drafting with, and it's great, honestly. You wait till week 3, you get all those injuries out of the way. But listen, if you drafted early last year and you were drafting one after another, the Baltimore Raven running back by committee, you were out of options. You were calling Ray Rice because they had no options. And, yesterday, Zach Wilson, the old dreaded running non-contact and drops, the heart sink. Today it's sounding like it's still intact, but we don't know what the hell that means right now. My first impression was, Sally, get on that phone, beat Cleveland to the punch, go get Jimmy G for a year. He knows the East. He's been here before, even though he was backing up Tom. But the fact is, he gives you a veteran presence. He gives you leadership. He gives you an opportunity to still compete in the AFC East.
I completely agree with you. Even if I think it's even just a safety blanket as far as if that injury is not that big of a deal and he's playing. I mean, I think there's still some concern, that could be re-injured. So I'm 100% with you. Whether it's a serious injury and you need a starter for an extended period of time, obviously that's potentially the best option right there. But even just a security blanket for Zach Wilson and to have another guy in that room, I totally agree with you. Especially, Robert Saleh, obviously a defensive mind, but also was in San Francisco same time as Jimmy G. So if there's any relationship there, then that could obviously help that bridge between the two of those guys seamlessly coming in. But I totally agree with you. I think they need to make that move.
And in Atlanta, rookie wide receiver USC, Mr. London himself, he goes down. I haven't heard any updates with that injury. Have you heard anything?
I don't think so. I you know what? I feel like there was something coming out late last night, but I think it's still kind of up in the air. Believed to not be serious is what I'm seeing right now, so that's obviously good news. But definitely not what you want to see week 1 in the preseason. But over the next couple of weeks and probably today, we're gonna have at least 1 or 2 more guys that are notable names that are gonna go down. So it's tough to see, but that's just what the reality is, and that's what we'll have here in the next couple of days.
All right, I'm going to our boys from DraftKings here. I just hit the refresh button. And let's see here. As we speak, hot off the press, golf guys. Just reloaded one more time. Bear with me. Cam Smith plus 550. Tony Finau plus 700. JJ, don't call me Reddick Spawn plus 900. Troy Merritt plus 1100. The big Willie Z, I talked about him yesterday. 7 under, finally coming back into form. Currently plus 1,400. Denny McCarthy plus 1,600. Sam Burns 16. Colin Morikawa plus 1,600. Straka 1,800. JT at 2,000. We go to Brian Harmon at 2,200. Sung J M 2,800. Johnny Rahm 3,000. Anything catching your eyes on moving day?
Yeah, I'm interested. A couple of these scores have updated right since I last checked over the last hour. Willie Z already off Birdie's hole number 1 up to 7 under. Sung J M 7 under for the damn day, up to 9 under. So the low scores are probably going to be coming in today. Morikawa at 4 under through 6 holes right now. He's on fire right now. But yeah, other names that you mentioned, the one that I was kind of circled and have plans of getting some action and got a little bit is Brian Harmon. One of those guys that you mentioned, or you didn't mention Brian Harmon necessarily, but some of these guys that are on, kind of in that fringe of the FedEx Cup standings. Right, coming into this tournament, 57th. So if you listen to what we were talking about, top 70 qualifies for the FedEx Cup standings for next week, and then top 30 after that. He's 57th right now. I was looking if the tournament were to end a little bit earlier. I think he's technically tied for 6th now. He was tied for 5th, and he was projected to be, if the tournament had ended, 32nd place. So a guy that if he's finished in top 3, he could obviously not only supplant himself for next week if he hasn't already, which I do think he might have already done that by making the cut here this weekend. But getting into that top 3 and potentially even higher could take a lot of pressure off of him for next weekend and really not have to worry about anything as far as qualifying for the top 30. So that is one guy that I circled as far as, especially if you're talking the big names, the Cam Smith, the Morikawa, the Zalatoris, the Finaus, that's obviously, their own category. But then when you're looking at the Spawn, Merritt, Straka, McCarthy, all these guys, Brian Harmon is the most skilled out of that pack. He might be kind of, for the general average golf fan that doesn't watch it week in and week out, probably his name probably holds the same weight as a lot of these guys, but he's a top 50 golfer in the world. So I expect him to have, I think it was 66 both days for first and second round here for him this weekend. So he's one guy that I had circled as far as having a nice weekend. Interested in your thoughts. I'm not going to take any action on him. Adam Scott, 82nd coming into this weekend. He was, I'm not sure where he's standing right now. Maybe he hasn't gotten off yet. He's 7 under, 82nd coming into this tournament. And so if he can have a nice day here, he can play himself obviously into that top 70. I'm not taking any action on him, but he's at least one that's going to be hell-bent on getting up there. Merritt was 68th coming into this weekend for the FedEx Cup standing. So a lot of these guys, whether they have already solidified themselves, they can obviously, if they finish top 5 or better, they can really take a lot of the pressure off of themselves for next week and really get themselves into that top 30 to where if they're making the cut next weekend, they're probably in for the Tour Championship the following week. So as you were kind of talking about yesterday, those big names, if Finau wins this thing, that could be a huge boost. As for obviously winning it would be a crazy run, one of the crazier runs of the season. But I think it's 2,000 points for the FedEx Cup standings to the winner, so he could jump right up there and really put himself into some good positioning for next week, and then obviously the following week after that. So those 3-4 names are certainly in contention there, but then those names that are really fighting for a spot for not only this weekend or next weekend, but the top 30 are definitely names to look at for sure in this one.
You can get Adam Scott right now on DraftKings top 10 plus 225, which might be worth something to take a look at there. I saw on gambling Twitter yesterday. I want to say 12, but I'm just going to preface this by double-digit rounds in a row. Tony Finau in the 60s. Think about that one for a second.
That is wild. That is wild. And he's, what was it yesterday? 68 yesterday after 64. So
I talked about him this morning with the boys. Tony, I can't finish Finau. What a story that would be if that guy ever held up the FedEx Cup.
That would be an incredible run. Especially, we were joking. He's one of the fan favorites. He's one of my favorites. He's one of the guys I root for. But it got to a point where it was like, how do you expect this guy to actually finish a tournament and win this thing. And obviously he's thrown the haters off and won a couple in a row. So, yeah, if you got Tony Finau on your bet slip, I am not going to complain at you or hate on you by any means. The guy is on fire, and we're seeing the low scores today. So there's going to be a couple guys that are that haven't gotten off today that are going to be shooting really low scores, and you might have a big score to be chasing tomorrow, and maybe a 2-3 shot lead for whoever the leader is coming in tomorrow morning.
I'm just looking for my one and done guy, and I don't even see him on this.
Who was it?
Hovland.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there he is. Plus 25,000 to win, plus 650 to finish in the top 10. You know, the thing that kills me, he comes out the gate birdie, birdie, birdie. And as I said last night on our show, he then goes double bogey, bogey, bogey. And it was like a thanks for playing. And I left Hatton and Lowry on the desk because I've used them most of them. It's, a season-long one and done. So you start to run out of big names.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be tough, and I mean, like, a tournament like this, that one definitely wasn't a bad one. But he's obviously been a little up and down the last few weeks. But nonetheless, I think there's going to be a couple really low scores. Might be a decent day for some matchups. I was interested in Brian Harmon matchup. The one I saw that I was getting offered was Harmon versus Finau at plus money, which I like the value on it, but I'm not trying to get in front of the Finau train as far as the way he's rolling. So I'm going to try and find some more action on Brian Harmon and maybe a couple other guys for today, and then leading into tomorrow.
Before we dive into baseball, and I got to talk about obviously the shitbag. But before we do, there is a UFC card tonight. Anything catch your eye? Anything to talk about?
Nothing too much for me. I've told you I'm not a UFC expert. There's a few fights here and there that I feel like I have a strong opinion on. Just really the main event for this one, Marlon Vera, Dominic Cruz, should be a really exciting one. Vera is minus 240 or so, wherever you're finding him, pretty hefty favorite. I do think I've taken Marlon Vera to win by decision, win by points, whatever you want to call it, at plus 140. So for Marlon Vera to go the distance and win the fight by points is the bet that I'm taking. Dominic Cruz has only lost 3 times, one of them by submission before his UFC days, and then one by knockout, one by decision. So his fights typically go through the distance, and I think that's what we're going to see today. I think this is going to be a fairly convincing win for Vera, but I do think Cruz is going to battle and take this one the distance. So that's all I've got as far as UFC. Nothing crazy here, but I'm giving a little plus money with Marlon Vera to go the distance for the win.
At my desk last night after our show, doing some homework, sent out the alert, and all of a sudden our producer, Kiefer, says, OMG, TATIS. Now, I know he's playing in the minors. Now, did he just hit a grand slam? Well, my first impression is he got hurt again. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? My phone blew up. It was like a slot machine in Vegas. Ding, 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 ding. And then I read this. And for the people that want to hear me bitch, whine, and complain right now, I'm in a $2,500 per entry, 14-team. They call it Super or the Ultimate in the NFBC. Winner gets $20K. Second prize, $7,500. Third prize, $5,000. And the rest, thanks for playing. Yeah. Now, during our draft in March, we took a swing on Trevor Bauer. We got 0 starts from him. We took a swing with Grayson Rodriguez, who's a star stud for Baltimore, who was ready to come up, but Baltimore decided he needed one more start. He gets hurt. Yeah. So we've been holding on to TATIS. We're in second place. In second place. I keep asking my Padre guy, when's he coming back? I asked him yesterday. He says 1 more week. So I was thinking next weekend or Monday. And now the dirt bag is out for 80 damn games.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you already the ringworm. I mean, if you buy that, then I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know who it hurts more. I mean, the MLB, as far as looking for a face and trying to market these young faces of the game, and now you get this guy who was one of, along with Ohtani, throwing Guerrero, a couple of these other guys that are, either a bona fide superstar or under 25. It's tough for everyone that's involved, and I think he could bounce back. He's obviously got a lot of time left in his career, but it's a tough stain to wipe off this early in your career, as far as where we're at right now.
Great day from us. I thought breaking down the games, I think we were spot on a lot of stuff. The ECSI VIPs again 3-0. We didn't
I
hit
think
any of the prop home runs on the
right.
welcome back Soto and Bell, but
Yeah.
there were a few in San Diego. Full board today. And again, we've been talking about this at length, and I just got to say it again. We talked about the Guardians yesterday. No one's talking about the Guardians, and the numbers stunk to high heaven, first of
Yeah.
all. Second of all, the team total was 3 and a hook, and you get a Jekyll and Hyde with Berrios. You
Right.
don't know which one you're going to get. They didn't just win, they got a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a shutout. And no one's talking about this team.
Right, and from my neck of the woods, that's the only team other than my own team that I'm looking at and talking about more than anybody. So it's I can understand it. I mean, on paper, it's not a team that jumps out and smacks the average person in the face. But I mean, you've mentioned who their manager is, and as far as how much respect you have for him, and so they're just a well-coached baseball team, man, and a well-ran organization. They always have guys, especially pitching arms, that can come up and be serviceable arms. And obviously, Jose Ramirez is a damn monster. So as far as fundamentally for a team that's chasing them, that's not very fundamentally sound and doesn't play with a lot of energy, they really scare the hell out of me. But man, they're when you least expected them, they're gonna smack you in the mouth, and it seems like it's not stopping any time soon right now.
And we talked about the pesky Orioles, and we talked about the inconsistency of the Rays, and they just keep on marching. So I think the stories are really starting to get told. The Yankees, since the All-Star break, struggling 13 and 17, 18, whatever it is. Last night, bottom of the ninth, 1-run lead. They bring in their closer who couldn't throw a strike if he was pitching underhand 3 feet in front of it. Sox 0-45 going into the ninth when trailing. They tie it in the ninth, win it in the 10th. Oh, fantastic, he says. You want me, you got me. You want the smoke, you got the smoke. Big win for the Sox. I watched the game. It was so nice to watch them. It was a win that it just felt good.
Yeah.
They listen. They've been through hell in a handbasket. The Chris Sale story this week. They're struggling. They get swept by the Braves. In come the Orioles. They beat them for one game. And the joke is they reached out to Elias, and it was a one-game series. They finally beat an American League team in a series, technically a one-game win. And it was just like, Judge hit a ball, okay? And one of the reporters says to Cora in the presser, hey, did that ball land yet? And Cora's like, excuse me? And he took a step back, and he was just like, are you shitting me? That's what you're going to ask me? And it was monstrous, and it's probably still rolling down the pike over the Sagamore Bridge.
Right.
But it was a hell of a win by the Red Sox.
I'm with you, man. I mean, is there any hope? I mean, well, first of all, the Yankees 1-8 last 9 on top of whatever their stretches since the All-Star break. 1-8 their last 9. They're floundering right now. And so, from your perspective, if the Red Sox can take 2 out of 3, not only just winning series is huge, but winning a series against your bitter rival team that's at the top of the standings, is there any chance that something turns around with momentum-wise if they win 2 out of 3 this weekend?
Cora made mention, guys, we're going to get healthy. Now, I don't know what he means by healthy, but I'm just telling you, we talked about Tito a few minutes ago. I have Tito here, okay? Mm-hmm. Cora's just below him. He's won rings. He knows how to he's your perfect manager. If you had Alex Cora starting next year in March, I'm running to the window. I'm doing the ALCS. I'm doing the World Series. That's what kind of manager he is.
No, I'm 100% with you. If you want to rile me up about my manager situation, then you just did it right there. But no, I'm with you. Looking at it, I mean, their next 6 games after this, they've got 3 with the Pirates, 3 with the Orioles. If they can catch the Orioles again after winning potentially, for giving them the series win here, we're getting at least 2 out of 3. Then it's a nice week. If they rattle off a nice week, then they're obviously back in at the very least in the wild card race. They're still not catching the Yankees, but at least at the very least in the wild card race if they have a nice week, right?
The board is yours, my friend.
All righty. Let's see. I think we got one here actually pretty soon here now that Let's see. We've got one starting in about 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Braves and Marlins doubleheader today. Game one is Kyle Muller and Jesus Luzardo. Muller start number 2. Last time out, 2 2/3, 7 earned runs on 4 hits and 6 walks. Luzardo, who I believe is 2 starts after an IL stint, has been pretty damn solid. With 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned run last week against the Cubs. Anything to see? Obviously, we've got the doubleheader here today. I'm seeing still undecided for the Marlins in Game 2. But any strategy that you are feeling good about for this doubleheader here today with these two teams?
We talk about this at length. We talked about it last night. Not that I didn't disrespect Lopez and the Marlins. My clear statement is, when was the last time the Marlins scored 4 or more? I says, I think they're going to score a couple. I just think the Braves are going to wear them down and eventually get to 4, 5, or 6. And what happened? They weared them down and they won and they covered the run line. So doubleheader, the old rule.
4-3, they did not cover the run line. Sorry to cut you off. 4-3, they gave up one in the ninth.
They got one in
the ninth.
Yes. Okay. Apologies. But the fact of the matter, old rule: don't bet the first game. Come back with the second game. Now, I think that the D-gens are getting ahead of themselves. There is Marlin money coming in right now on Luzardo. They're grabbing the price. Now, I am seeing an adjusted line of around 170, 175, 178 with Anderson in the second game. For me, I'm going to hope that the Marlins put an absolute whoop ass on the Braves in the first game, and I'll circle the wagons back. I'll have the Braves first 5 minus the hook. I'll have the Braves full game run line, and I'll have the Braves team total in the second game.
100% with you. I think, I think there's a reasonable expectation of, at least if the concern of doing the Marlins, going aggressive on the Marlins is, it would not shock me if Luzardo regressed there. So I'm 100% with you as far as waiting that one out and see how it plays out. So next one up, not for a couple hours. So we got that one to kick us off here in about 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And then 2:07 my time, 3:07 your time is the next one up. Cleveland and Toronto. Tristan McKenzie and Mitch White. Start number 2 as a Blue Jay for Mitch White. McKenzie, 8 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs versus Houston last week. Yesterday, we just talked about this Cleveland team. Yesterday, Toronto was about minus 160-ish, and now you're all the way down at minus 115. Anything to see here as far as this shift in odds from last night to today?
Sticks McKenzie, we have him on our fantasy team, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm nervous today. I think he's what do you got for him in his last handful of starts?
So the last one was dominant. 8 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs versus the Houston Astros, and then before that, it was he had 2 4 earned runs against your Red Sox, and then 4 against the Arizona Diamondbacks before bouncing back and dominating the Astros.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Scotty Webb would say this: he is due for regression. He probably had a game score in the 80s. And you got a Toronto Blue Jays team that got shut out last night, or did they score 2 late? Shut out?
0.
And they had to sleep in their beds. They now have the same amount of wins as the Guardians. Pitching edge is Sticks. If Sticks is on, he's been great. The actual value, I hate to use this word, Toronto at home minus 112. When you're going to get them at home? I know you're going into a juggernaut here with the Guardians. As much as I'm rooting for Sticks, the play here is the Jays, but I'm staying far, far away.
Yep, I 100% agree. He's been a guy that it's been decently reasonable to expect some regression against 2 offenses like that in a row. Typically, if he's going the one dominant start, it's going to be a regression the next time, typically. So with you on that one. Next one up, staying in the AL East, at least the home team, both teams in this case, Baltimore and Tampa Bay. MLB debut for DL Hall. He is the Orioles' number 4 prospect, number 62 prospect in the entire Major League Baseball. Hasn't been great in the minor leagues this year. 4 or 5-ish ERA in between AA and AAA, about 1.4 WHIP. And McClanahan on the other end for the Rays here. 5 earned run and 4 earned runs the last 2 out. Orioles get the win last night. Are you feeling good about a McClanahan bounce back and a Rays bounce back, or is the MLB debut keeping you away from this one?
I mean, McClanahan has come back to earth, if you look at the standings right now, Baltimore 59-53, the Rays 58-53. This is,
I don't believe it.
yeah, you're supposed to have a Tampa first five minus the hook. You're supposed to have a Tampa run line here. I look at D Hall and I think of Dante Hall returning kicks. And I don't know anything about this guy. I know this Baltimore team is an amazing story. Under over is 6.5 over 15 cents. So they're telling you McClanahan's going to bring his A game, but they're also telling you Baltimore's pitching staff's going to bring its A game. I mean, if you wanted to run to the window with a little, half run minus on Tampa first five, if you try to do a full game minus the run and a half, the Rays aren't scoring. We talk and laugh about the Marlins.
Yeah.
The Rays ain't scoring either.
No. I'm seeing even all I see is the last five, but it's 3 or less in 4 of the last 5 right now. So I'm with you, and I actually did not realize that the Orioles had passed them up in wins. I obviously I knew they had been neck and neck for a while, but I did not realize they overtook them last night.
It must be something in the water in Florida. These teams can't score.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what it is, or the domes, or whenever Miami has the dome. I don't know. You know what? Who knows? It's not looking pretty over there. But So was there any way you leaned, or just probably staying away for the most part?
Let me go to one. Let me move over to here for a second, just to see what Vegas is telling me.
Because for me, it's tough because obviously everyone, there's so many people that love the Orioles right now. I would kind of how we talk with these star pitchers. If it was up over minus 200, you would feel a little bit better for McClanahan. But, maybe that's, I can't tell if that's the Orioles, everyone loving the Orioles, maybe dragging that down a little bit. But nonetheless, it's a tough spot for me. I'm not getting into this one.
Team totals, Baltimore, 2.5 over 125. Tampa Bay, 3.5 over 125. So under over 6.5. They're telling you Tampa wins 3-2, 3-1. 6.5. So if you don't want to lay the lumber on Tampa, I'm going to tell you can get cute and creative here. For minus 25 cents, you can take Tampa to get to 4 today. That's all. They don't have to win the game. You don't have to worry about the pesky Orioles coming back and beating you. You just got to get to 4 on a guy making his debut. If you can't do that, Tampa, start looking for some golf dates in October, will you?
Yeah. Yeah, and this Orioles team is gonna, it's gonna dance in your grave. So, I'm with you. Cubs and Reds, the next one. I don't have. This is probably my least strong thoughts out of any games today. Sampson versus Ashcraft, Cubs and Reds. I actually didn't even see what happened. And obviously, did they have the day off yesterday after the Field of Dreams game? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yep, they were off yesterday. Anything to see here? I've got no strong thoughts either way in this one.
Under over a 9, team total Cubbies 4.5 under 125. Cincinnati 4.5 under 120. I did have some love back in the day for Ashcraft. The Cubs are my kryptonite. It's a beer, popcorn, and knockwurst day there.
Yeah, no, it's wind blowing in a little bit. I was hoping it could be maybe a 20-mile-an-hour wind, and you just go, bet the over, and we got the ball flying out all over the place. But that's not the case. So I'm steering far away from this one. Next one up, same matchup as last night, obviously. San Diego and Washington, but same situation as far as about minus 300 on DraftKings, all over the place. Probably north of minus 300 for the San Diego Padres. In Washington, you've got Yu Darvish on the mound, and Sanchez for the Nationals, who has not been good. His ERA is north of 7 right now. Any way to get into this one, Manny Machado, before I kick it over to you, 7 for 15 lifetime versus Sanchez with 3 bombs. So that might be my, and he is scorching hot right now. That is going to be my home run lob for the day. So aside from that, anything from you as far as this game is concerned?
Under over a 9, I said last night on my timeline, San Diego sleepwalking. I says, I don't think they took the TATIS news, very well. And then they wake up in the 5th and it was thanks for playing. Listen, I know Sanchez sucks. Sanchez sucks. Vegas knows they suck. Under over 8.5, under overnight. Now up to a 9 juiced under. Is this where you get stuck by the hook and San Diego scores the 5 spot? Washington 2.5 over -130. Obviously, I'm not going to tell anyone to run to the window and play San Diego money line. If you're goofing around in parlays, fine. I'm going to say this: Darvish. I'm not calling him Berrios, but he's had some clunkers. And I'm listen. I think San Diego takes a FU Tatis. We'll do this on our own approach.
Yeah.
If I wanted to dive into this game, honestly, I would take the swing with over 5.5 again on the team total. Hope they get the touchdown. You don't have to worry about the extra point or 2-point conversion.
No, I like it. This one seems like you kind of Darvish, not sleepwalking, but just kind of overlooking it as far as not the same level of opponent he's been facing. So I'm with you as far as staying away from that. But yeah, give me Machado homer 350 today. That's where I'm going for this one. Going back to my neck of the woods, got the win last night, 2-0, Detroit and the Chicago White Sox. Michael Kopech, 6 innings of no-hit baseball. His slider was electric last night. Had command issues early, and he admitted it, and then the slider was jumping. A little bit of a weather. Last I checked, this was a couple hours ago. Last I checked, there were some weather concerns for this one, so that might be something to watch and keep you out of it. Actually got some rain potentially all day here for me. So, yeah, something to watch. Could be a stopping and starting action here. Manning versus Giolito. If not, though, Manning 2.25 ERA over 20 innings pitched so far this season, but 7 walks over the last 2 starts for him. And Giolito's been a little bit better the last 2. So I'm obviously biased. The offense was not hitting last night. They had bases loaded and finally had a kind of a half bloop single to RBI to get the job done last night. So, yeah, I couldn't believe my eyes as far as the runners in scoring position production there. But I'm too biased on this one again here tonight. Help me out with this one.
Well, you set it up perfectly. You don't want to get involved in the start and stops. You'd hate to get involved in this game, and Giolito goes out and pitches the first 2 innings, an hour and a half rain delay, and it's a bullpen game. Hats off to you. Finally got a base hit with the bases loaded. Where was that the day before? I'm still salty there. It's a team that I want to back. It's a team that I believe that could get on a roll and make some noise here the last 6-7 weeks. I thought Giolito was in a perfect spot, maybe to get that -0.5 first 5, maybe finally to get that run line. You covered the run line last night, 2-0. With that weather forecast, I'm out.
Yeah, it was looking a little optimistic, and now it's looking like to rain throughout the afternoon, so we might have a better idea for it. But yeah, it's been quite frustrating. So I am we'll move on from that one and save my sanity. Dodgers and Kansas City next up here. Home team sticking with the AL Central. Heaney and Brad Keller in this one. A little bit of a different weather spin on this one. The wind is blowing out, it looks like, today, and we're going to have about 95-degree weather. So potential for the ball to be jumping a little bit in this one. But Heaney, 2 earned runs over 28 innings pitched this season. Any expectation that this guy is going to come crashing back down to the sun? I mean, you look back through his career log, how many seasons he got up north of 6.7 ERA, and now he's going 2 earned runs over the last 28 innings pitched this season. Any expectation for some regression from this guy today or at any point here?
Amazing what a change of scenery does, huh? And now you're playing on a team that's just scoring in bunches. Vegas said to me, Jeff, we gave you a gift yesterday with the 5 and a hook. And again, I thought I was cursed here. Here, yes, on Thursday, we got your White Sox bases loaded with the meat of the order. Don't score. Dodgers, bases loaded. Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Freeman, out. Thanks for playing. They didn't score. So I got over 5.5. I'm like, I'm cursed. Well, they get up 2 innings later, bases loaded, and they put up a crooked number. Thanks for playing. And then I get the 3-run homer by Trace Thompson. We get over 5.5 in cash there. Well, guess what Vegas said today? Not so fast, Mr. Dawson. 6.5 juiced under, -125. You want to go Dodgers team total over today? You need the touchdown and extra point today.
Yeah, that is steep. I mean, Brad Keller is hit or miss. So for me, I mean, whenever I go against Brad Keller, then he's fantastic. I think he had 1 earned run last time out against the Red Sox. 2 starts ago, it was 8 earned runs to my White Sox. So he's too hit or miss for me. I'm steering far away from this one. But do you like what I was thinking as far as maybe an over in this one with the wind blowing out and the weather the temperature as high as it is? Obviously, there's a big ballpark, so that kind of maybe thwarts that a little bit. But am I grasping at straws here?
No, and don't forget too, Haney pitched for the Angels.
Yeah.
Kansas City's seen him before. It's not
Right.
like all of a sudden he's coming over and we're not going to see him. So, you're looking for angles, you're looking for edges. Listen, you can get plus money. You can go and get the Dodger team total right now over 6.5, plus 115, plus 110. You don't get the Dodgers in plus situations many times. Number one. Number two, you're getting 27 guaranteed outs. But now you can say it this way: Haney regression. Why have a team have to score 7 out of the 9.5 when the Royals team total is 3.5 juiced under minus 130? So if you want to get into the over, I have no problem with that. Okay. I also don't have a problem now. Regression, KC team total 3.5 over plus 115.
I'm all about it. That's my play out of this one as far as not going in that. This isn't my dog of the day because I don't know what the hell. Like I said, when I go against Keller, when I go for Keller, he bites me in the ass. So I like the Royals offense today. They've been pesky the last week and a half or so with their offense too. So if you get some regression and this one is tough as far as that wind blowing out and the ball jumping because it is a big stadium and the ball doesn't leave that place too often. So I like Kansas City's offense today in that one though. And then next one up, potentially the pitching, or definitely the pitching matchup of the day. Potentially the matchup of the day: Phillies and the Mets in this next one. Nola and DeGrom total. When I was looking at it, is it on the move still today as we get on through the day? Last I checked, I saw a certain spot that had it at 6. I saw another spot that's 6.5. But is this any value out of this one, or is this a popcorn game for you for the Mets and Phillies here?
You know something? Vegas is making a big statement here. I got egg on my face with DeGrom last time. Don't forget, he was minus 130 last Sunday against the Braves. Now he's minus 200 against Nola. So they're telling you, come on, Philly guys. We gave Phillies out our dog of the day yesterday, and they came cashing under over a 6, juiced over minus 15. Obviously, I can't go either way. Anyone that wants to bet the Phillies, listen, if you had the Phillies last night, just don't even look at this game. Take that. You won 2-1 in extras. DeGrom has been DeGrom. I don't think the Mets want to lose 2 in a row to the Phillies. I mean, they got a 10-game lead on them. But I'm staying far, far away. I know the public and the Degens. I know where they're going here. They're going to have DeGrom minus a half, first 5. DeGrom full game minus a 1.5. You and I and everyone else that wants to listen knows this. Nola can spin one. I'm not calling him DeGrom, but he can spin one.
Absolutely, and it's keeping me out of it. I'm seeing you can catch the run line for the Mets at plus money, so that should tell you all you need to know right there as far as and the total at 6, telling you that this one probably is going to be a 3-2 game one way or another. So I'm not touching it. This one's I'm going popcorn out of this one for me, but. At least should be an interesting one. Maybe maybe DeGrom struggles with some run support again here in this one, but let's see. We've only got a handful left. Next one up, going to Houston. Similar situation. Logue versus McCullers. McCullers making his first start of the season, and we've got another gigantic line just under 300, minus 300, about minus 275. Any way to get into this one? Is this a just sit way back and watch this one, or do you like either side in this one?
I don't know, obviously, what McCullers is going to do.
Yeah.
We tend to stay away first game starters, first game back. Kicking myself in the ass. The other team total I had on the desk yesterday was Astros team total over 5.5. They erupted too. I'm starting to see a trend here. These high-powered offenses, if you can't get into the money lines, you can't get into the first 5s, you can get in on the team totals, and they're juicing them. So you got to take the extra, but you're getting plus money. So you can get Astros team total right now over 5.5 plus 115. It's an under over of 8.5. I don't know much about Logue. I know he's no lock, no pun intended, but this Astro team is waking up right now as we speak. Astros 73 wins, and the New York Yankees 71 wins. 2-game lead on the Bronx.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that lead has quickly gone by the wayside. So, I expect Houston to erupt again. But yeah, McCullers, it gave me a little bit of a nightmare scenario. I was pulling up his game log. I was like, this is his first start, right? And the first thing that popped up was last year, and the immediate two things were postseason, White Sox, 0 earned run, or 1 earned run, whatever that was, 2 wins. And I was like, oh, shit, screw you. So I don't want any part of Lance McCullers. He is a nightmare for me over here. Going to your neck of the woods, you talked about the win last night, Yankees and the Red Sox. Frankie Montas and Cutter Crawford for the Red Sox. Montas start number 2 for the Yankees. Start number 1 was not very good at all. It was a rough one for him, and I already mentioned it. Yankees 1-8 over their last 9 games, and the line out of this one is a little bit different than yesterday. Yankees about -145. Are you buying the Red Sox with the plus money, or is this a bounce back day for Montas and the Yankees here in this one?
Do you have a way to pull up tomorrow's starters? I assume they're the ESPN game to boot.
I believe they're Sunday night. Yeah. Let's see. Tomorrow's starters. It looks like Talon for the Yankees and Michael Wacha for the Red Sox.
So Walker coming back. So there's a part of Cora's team getting healthy. I think the last time they were on that Sunday game, that was the third leg of our parlay, and it was in Boston, and the Sox were down 4-0 and 6-2, and they rallied. I think it was against Tyon too. You know what? You would expect a bounce back here for Montas. The Sox have seen him a million times. They're not worried about him. I want to say there's some momentum building off of that win last night. So all Yankee bettors, if you want to take the approach where the Yankees are going to bounce back, Montas is going to bounce back, just go first 5 minus the hook. You can probably get that close to plus money. I think Crawford has pitched okay. Yankees is really, really struggling. And you know something? When you got a 10-game lead and the rest of the division is struggling other than the Orioles, it's okay to do this in August. You want to be playing your best baseball in September and October. Now, with that said, though, you don't want to get 3, 4, 5, 6 games behind the Astros and have a pivotal game 5 or 7 in the dome.
100%. No, absolutely. There's a couple teams that have done this that flirt with losing their lead, and it comes down to September. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it definitely is definitely is concerning right now. And yeah, you need Montas to bounce back. Another one to look out for today. No home runs against him, but Rafael Devers, who hasn't been tearing the cover off the ball, obviously could use a resurgent. 5 for 8 lifetime versus Frankie Montas. No home runs, but maybe a gapper or two for Devers out of this one today.
I'm going to give you a name for a home run today. If you can pull up the prop, I think it's going to be big money. Alex Verdugo.
Okay, let's see. For a bomb?
For a bomb.
Let's see. Verdugo is going to be plus 630 to hit a bomb. Alex Verdugo.
Alex Verdugo goes back, gone. Plus 630.
Plus 630. That might be worth a price shop. Typically, when it's that high, that might be worth a price shop. Let me see if I can get another one, different odds here on that one. Actually, I don't know if unless my eyes are missing it. I'm not seeing it on draft. Oh, actually, plus 950 on DraftKings. Good grief. Good thing I did the price check. 950 on DraftKings. My goodness.
Boys, we're going to eat today.
Saturday night pizza on Alex Verdugo. I love it. 950. Talk about a price difference there. My goodness. So yeah, maybe that's getting hammered on FanDuel and not over on DraftKings. So I appreciate the looks on that one. Yeah, that is going to be one to watch. I've got that one in my bet slip right now. Seattle and Texas is the next one up. We've only got a few more left. This one is in Texas. Marco Gonzalez and Dane Dunning. Correct me if I'm crazy or tell me if I'm crazy with this one. I haven't locked anything in by any means. not totals guys over here, but I am leaning towards an over in this one. Gonzalez not as good on the road in this one. Both these offenses are familiar with these pitchers. I like the Texas offense matched up against Gonzalez, and I like a little bit of a Dane Dunning regression in this one. He's been pretty damn good the last few times out, and I'm expecting some regression. Guy that's got an ERA north of 4, has had a handful of starts up over 3-4 and runs allowed. So call me crazy if I am interested in the over in this game.
No, I don't think you are at all. And the surprising thing is, I can't play them all. I did like Kirby yesterday, first 5. I did like Kirby run line. They end up winning in the run line too as well. But if you look at the game here, guys, Texas 49-63, Seattle 62-52. There's a 13-game difference. There was just some basic math. Yet Texas is favored. I go over to the team totals. Seattle 4.5 under -140. You can get them at +120 if you think they can get to 5 or better. Here's the key here, boys. Texas 3.5 over, but you got to lay -145. Vegas is telling you this. They think Seattle gets to 4, and there's a real good chance that Texas gets to 4. Does someone get to 5 and it go up and over the 9? Now, if you like Texas, you probably want to play them to win -108. If you think that Seattle's got a puncher's chance, but you still like Texas, you can pay a little tax and get Texas to 4 and cash a ticket.
No, I'm with you. I think there's definitely a few different angles that you can look at in this one. And I've been trying to be real careful with these two pitchers as far as, obviously they've been good in certain spots despite, I'm not super high on either of these guys. But Gonzalez, a lot worse on the road than he is in Seattle. So I could see Texas putting up a nice crooked number at some point here. If you any interest, both teams over 2.5 in the first 5 at plus money. Any interest either way there?
No, I can see it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can see
Okay.
it.
Plus 125 for the Rangers, 130 for the Mariners, or in the first 5 over 2.5.
And I say this tongue in cheek, but it's true. If you played both over and one cash, you make money.
Right. That might be where I'm going with it, if I'm being honest. I like at least one of these offenses to beat up that other pitcher. So, next game up, Cardinals get the job done last night. Big series for the NL Central. I think that makes a 1.5 game lead for them. And they've got Burns for the Brewers, Wainwright for the Cardinals. Cardinals about -175 last night. Now you're seeing with Burns on the mound, -145 for the Brewers. Brewers got some solid numbers against Wainwright throughout their career. Obviously seen him a pretty extensive amount of time, so he's obviously had his licks, and they've gotten their licks from him as well. So anything to make of the price difference? Is that just given the respect to Burns, or would you have preferred to see more respect to Burns if you're interested in the Brewers?
I think Vegas is spot on here. A Cardinal team that came back after getting their boobs blown up in Colorado. Great bounce back spot. We sweated the -1.5 at +130 last night in cashes. I mean, I can see both sides here. Pitch and edge initially, Burns, but Wainwright at home, and you can get the Cardinals +120 or 125. Does wet my palate as well there. Under over right now of 7 over -20 cents. Right now here, though, I mean, there's no such thing as must wins in August.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals have a 2-game lead right now over Milwaukee. Milwaukee wheeling out their race. So there should be some kind of sense of urgency. If you don't want to lay the lumber, maybe -0.5 for Milwaukee first 5. Just hope that they get to Wainwright early. Other than that, what can you pull up tomorrow's matchup?
Yeah, no, I was gonna actually have that in a second. I think that is also pretty important. This one, 1:15 game tomorrow. Ashby for the Brewers and Mikolas for the Cardinals tomorrow.
And Mikolas has got whiplash from giving up 10 runs.
Yeah.
Earlier this week. Expect to bounce back there. You know what? Gun to my head, the Brewers is the right side today.
I think so too. I liked seeing the Brewers' numbers against Wainwright a little bit. Really, the thing that concerns me is just, Cardinals 36-20 at home, but I think with Burns, I think there's going to be a little bit of a statement from Burns, and then maybe I don't love that. I don't love getting into the action with either of those pitchers tomorrow. I like the Cardinals to win the series somehow, but it's concerning for me today for sure.
No, I agree 100%.
And then I think we got three more left here. Next one, we've been talking a little bit about these teams the last couple days. Arizona and Colorado. Colorado gets the job done last night, but you got Zach Gallen on the mound for Arizona. Urano for Colorado. Urano saw his last outing was against Arizona, was all right. Nothing special, nothing terrible there. But, do you like Colorado's offense again here tonight, or is Zach Gallen going to cool him down after a nice, whatever it is, 4 or 5 day stretch of nice offense from Colorado?
Colorado bats are cranking, the over's cranking. I mean, I know Gallon's coming in there to kind of quiet it down. You can't pay the tax on Gallon at 145. If you want Arizona, the only way that I can respect that, honestly, is if you do the run line. Not only do you need them to win, but they're going to win by 2 or more. Let me see if I get a team total. Arizona 6.5, juiced under, minus 135. Colorado 5.5, juice under, minus 145, and 11.5 over under. If you want to play Arizona run line tonight, minus 1.5, I can go that way.
Okay. How about a little? I'm with you. I'm not playing this one, but I get infatuated with this home team Rocky team, our hometown Rocky team. Whenever they're at home and their bats are rolling, I go crazy with some alternate run lines in their favor and go Rockies minus 1.5, and because you could have a 10-7 game and the Rockies could win this one.
No, they're clicking, and I'm having flashbacks, the good old days when, Blackman, Trevor Story, and all those guys were just raking, and they're raking right now. So St. Louis left, in comes Arizona. So what? Who's next? I mean, so the only thing is you do have a good edge with Gallen, but the Colorado Air has a way to take that away.
Yeah, and the Rockies hitters have some decent numbers against them as far as decent sized sample. Not crazy, not terrible, but at least can definitely get to him. Blackman, I think, was like 10 for 27 lifetime against them. So next one up, another hefty line on this one for a losing baseball team. Got the win yesterday, 5-3, with the Giants hosting the Pirates. Beatty versus Logan Webb in this one. Another minus 250 or wherever it is. That might be rounding it somewhat, but minus 250 I think is the consensus. 245. Anything to make out of this one, or are you passing right along this one again today?
I mean, Webb at home is when he starts. I think the Giants are like 23-2, some stupid number. SoCal DGen usually has that one up for us. Beatty got us last time. We went. I forget who they were playing. We had the team total over. Can you do me a favor? What the hell is Beatty in his last 3 to 5 starts?
Let's see. He is 3 2/3 against the Diamondbacks. 2 hits, no runs. 1 1/3 the last time before that. So he hasn't really gone past 3 innings. He nothing last time out. 3 2/3 the time before that. An inning and a third. 4 earned runs against the Brewers. And then before that, 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs allowed.
So you're getting the every other. So we're coming off of a great start, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. 3 2/3, no runs. Yep.
All right. So we got the R word, regression. So you got it over under a 4.5 over minus 120. So go to your trusty board. What do you have San Fran first 5 team total?
That is going to be over 2.5 at plus 105.
That's your play.
There you go. I like that. Goodness gracious. Nice find right there. Because I mean, you're not going to talk me into, as good as Logan Webb can be at home, you're not going to talk me into paying any, minus 120 on the run line or anything like that. I'm not even throwing this in a parlay, if I'm being totally honest with you. But I like that first 5 though. I really do. So that is definitely one to look at. The next one is the last one we've got. This one is going to be the late night action. If I guess that last one is about the same time. Twins and Angels. This is the one that I think I whiffed on the biggest one yesterday. Angels put up a goose egg, if I do believe, 4-0 yesterday. Bundy and Detmers here today, Minnesota and the Angels. Detmers 2 earned runs or less last 5 starts for him. He's been pretty damn good. Bundy going against his former team, he is very hit or miss. I am not really trying to get into either way, but these odds at least make you think twice about taking the Twins in this one for me. So his Angels team has just soured me way too many times to go balls to the wall on them. But anything from you on this one?
Computer model, overnight model had Detmers minus 110. I agreed with you with Sandoval yesterday, and again, they get shut out. The thing that concerns me now is Minnesota minus 110. we always talk about this. Is it going to be Dylan Bundy or Al Bundy?
Yeah.
Vegas seems to think it's going to be Dylan Bundy today. Listen, if you had the Angels last night, okay, whether it was team total, first five, a full game, you have no reason not to go back to the window today and expect Al Bundy. None whatsoever.
Right. No, I think I'm with you. And I'm just looking at Bundy. I mean, 2 earned run last time out, 3 earned the time before that, 5 before that. So I think he's due. I like fading Dylan Bundy this season, but there's certain times where he can show up. So, going into his former team, which I mean, take that for whatever you were. He was a 6.06 ERA for the Angels last year, so it might not mean anything for you right there. But Detmers has been good, but I'm not going too crazy into this one. But the Angels again, at least got me interested, but they are souring me more and more by the day, more than my White Sox are, man.
Well, you get team totals here. It's kind of comical. This is a Vegas special. Minnesota 3.5 over -145. Angels 3.5 over -130. An under over of 8. This is a classic. The final score will be 5-3. One of these teams is going over, and one of these you're going to get hooked on. So is it Al or Dylan? And Detmers has been, obviously, he has shown flashes.
Yeah.
He's got a no-hitter this year. He came back from getting sent down. He's been better. Again, another one of my fantasy guys. I'll be rooting for him. Obviously, I have 20,000 reasons not to. But I'm telling you right now, 5-3 final. Who gets to 5 first is the winner.
All right. I like it. How about maybe Angels most hits? I'm trying to find odds for it, but maybe more hits on Al Bundy than or not Al, Dylan Bundy, Al Bundy, whatever you want to call him. And the Twins can still win that game, but maybe more hits for the Angels in this one than the Twins.
How about let's go one on each side. What's showy for a homer? And give me a couple righties from Minnesota and their numbers.
Let's see. Mr. Ohtani is 240, plus 240 there. And then let's see for the Twins. I'm not seeing. We don't got any lineup for it yet, but let's see. Buxton 235, Correa 425. Maybe a little Byron Buxton action. How about that? Let's see. Where's Luis Rise? I don't see Luis Rise. I don't see a Rise on this list yet. It might be this one. It might be a little too early to get everyone out of this one. I think the lineup still needs to come out a little bit more.
I'd be careful of Correa, of all people, to talk shit yesterday because he's now talking to TATIS saying he doesn't respect cheaters. I mean, Carlos, listen, you were supposed to be the next coming to Derek Jeter here. You've already.
Did he actually say that? I thought that was parody. Did he actually say that?
I thought I saw a clip.
He might be right. I just brushed by it thinking it was parody. He might have actually said that. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. He was talking that, and I thought they showed the clip that it had TATIS saying he doesn't respect cheaters, and then Carlos saying, of all people to say that. So a little egg on your face, and it's Correa talking smack, of course.
Yeah. But also, what I was going to add, a guy like that at 425 is almost a little too good to be true, kind of enticing you a little too much on that one. So I'm staying away from that one. I like Buxton. For the Twins on this one.
All right, Buxton Shotani, but the real homer tonight is Verdugo plus 950. Yeah. We'll be eating at Straga's on Sunday if that one comes in.
I love it. I'm glad I didn't knee-jerk go for the 630 and actually went and price checked on that one. Goodness gracious. Twitter
better look out if Verdugo goes yard tonight.
Well, not going to go too crazy. There's no value in taking anyone for 2 home runs. Every once in a while, I get a little greedy on a Saturday and go for 2 home runs.
If you put 2 home runs for Verdugo and he ever got it, you would wake up in the morning and they would say, sorry, we're closing your account.
Yeah. I'd be already planning my trip, and then I'd be out that money before they can get it to me. Yeah.
Well, an amazing show. We went through a lot here. Tomorrow you are off. I will get Scotty's schedule. Obviously, I plan on a busy week ahead. As we get closer to football, we'll go over whatever other injuries there are in the NFL on Monday. We'll figure out morning or afternoon for that. And then the regular cast of characters, we now add one to the loop on Tuesday. Julian Edlow at 10:20. from DraftKings. Wednesday, Andrew McGinnis at 1 o'clock from Wager Talk. Thursday, new guest, high noon, full-time B2B Rob from Beating the Bookie will now be making his weekly guest. Friday, of course, Dan Alexander from Premier Lacrosse, from Betting on Lacrosse, from Wager Talk, from Cash Considerations, our buddy Mr. Mayor himself, Dave Sharapan. So busy week ahead. We can't thank you enough, Riley. We want you to go enjoy your White Sox. Try to get a 2-game winning streak. I mean,
I hope so. How about 3? We got plenty of games against the Tigers. We need to take about 90% of them.
To everyone watching and listening, we thank you. Without you, there's no ECSI. If you haven't followed us, follow Riley at Riley_Magnuson, the one. You can follow myself at EC Sports Invest. You can run over to Twitch and YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors and follow anyone here watching on TikTok. Go over to East Coast Sports Investors. The I in investors is capitalized. Follow me. I need to get 43 more followers to get to 1,000. Then we can go live on TikTok, Riley.
Okay. I did not know this. Okay, I like it. I did. Okay, yeah. There you
So
go.
send all your Windy City friends over to TikTok, East Coast Sports Investors. Start following us. We want to go live on TikTok. There'll be no shakes, shimmies, twerks, and all that other stuff.
No.
But we can go live and have some fun over there as well.
I can be peer pressured into it if you need us to, but yeah, probably not going to see that from us. But yeah, if you need me to, hey, I'll be on standby for you there.
All right, so everyone, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow sometime in the morning. Myself and Scotty Webb will be breaking down last night's action. We'll be talking about Verdugo's plus 950 home run, and maybe I'll do a home run trot there. We'll get you ready for Sunday Fun Day, our action parlay there. We are on a 6-3 this week for the ECSI VIPs. We're in the plus. We'll take it slow today. We'll play a little action parlay on Sunday. Hope for envelope Monday. And we'll move on from there. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy the weekend. There's only a couple more weekends left in the summer. Get out to the beach. Go do a barbecue. Go walk Main Street. Get the kids ready for high school. Get them ready to go back to college and enjoy yourself. And we'll see you soon.